Policymakers here are pushing for concrete steps on climate action. I've spoken to several experts who have stressed the urgency as well as the need for the private sector and citizens to do their part, saying every small step will count to help reduce emissions, protect our marine environments, and drive decarbonization efforts. Speaking at one of the panels here at the Milken Institute Asia Summit that addressed climate change is accomplished mountaineer Peter Hillary, and he joins me live now in our studio. Peter is the son of Sir Edmund Hillary, who along with Tenzing Norgay completed the first successful ascent of Mount Everest in 1953. Peter, thank you for making the time to speak with us. I really appreciate it. You have climbed Mount Everest multiple times now, but we know that that trek is getting more and more dangerous due in part to climate change. What have been your observations? How have you seen the landscape changing?
Well, throughout my lifetime, we are seeing the glaciers in the Himalayas, which are quite large glaciers, and they are receding. And there are great examples of this. When they start to recede too quickly, you get little lakes forming, and they're only held back by a loose moraine, and every so often they can catastrophically release. So we're seeing a reduction in the ice.
This reduction in this ice, it's happening rapidly, and just about 3 weeks ago you had mentioned to me there was a major event and an entire village was flooded. What can you tell us about that? How bad is the situation right now?
Oh, look, the situation they're called glacial outburst events, and the small lakes, and it might be from very heavy rain, or it could be an earthquake, and it liquefies the moraine wall that holds back the lake, and it catastrophically releases. What we need to do, of course, is use engineering techniques, and this is only a band-aid, to bring these lake levels down to a safe level to avoid these situations. But in the big picture, of course, we all have to make differences in our economy and in the way we run our lives to tackle climate change.
Looking at the impact specifically on Mount Everest, how is all of this affecting future expeditions? How is it affecting climbers who are trying to make the trek up?
Well, I think you've got to remember that climbers as a particular demographic are not risk-averse people. You know, I mean, if you're going to want to go and climb Mount Everest, you go, yeah, I'll do that. You know, I'll walk across a ladder over a big crevasse and there'll be the odd avalanche. So people are still prepared to go, and particularly professional climbers are very prepared to take on these sort of risks. But I think you have to sort of look at the impacts lower down to the communities, to the people, and, you know, really to our ability to run our lives up there. The little villages, you know, they're growing their crops and so on. What are the impacts of climate change on them?
So what happens to Mount Everest if we don't take steps to tackle climate change now?
Well, we're going to see a further reduction of ice. For climbers, it will mean that the Khumbu icefall probably moves more rapidly, is more fractured, more dangerous. But it's really for the people down valley that I think the greatest danger is through these glacial lake outburst events that literally are unstoppable, these sort of river tsunamis that come down the gorges and just take out whatever's in front of them.
Do you think there is still time to reverse the effects or slow down climate change?
Look, like a lot of people, I think I vacillate on that. I mean, I think in a way you've got to go, we can do it. We have to be positive about it. And the important thing is that each and every one of us has to make, you know, a one-person change, and as a community, a bigger change, and as a country, a substantial change and address this situation, because globally we've really got to do something. But look, at times I do feel negative about it. It is a huge undertaking, but I believe in the power of people, and I think what we did during the pandemic was truly remarkable. Everyone acknowledged that there was something we had to do here, and we did it. And this is another one of those events. But to be honest, the pandemic was minor in comparison to the challenge of climate change.